Dads, this one is for you. Hi, it's Martin. And look, if you're a dad that's a manager or a leader in the corporate world, like I was for 20 years in the financial services industry, or you're a business owner like I am now, and you promised yourself, in fact, you probably promised your family that this year would be different, that this year you would get a handle on work so that you weren't working so long and hard and thinking about work all of the time and not spending as much time, quality time with your family that you want to. That instead of that working harder and longer, and let's be honest, even though you don't like to admit it, there was stress involved, overwhelm involved, frustration involved, exhaustion involved, but you ploughed on regardless anyway, trying to get through a never-ending to-do list that was all due last Friday. You promised yourself this year would be different. You address that balance. This is for you. All through January, I've been sharing my 30 tips, my legendary now 30 days of tips. And yes, they're 30 seconds long. And yes, they're free. But man, if you just put a handful of these things into place, they will significantly improve how you're looking at work, how you're approaching your work, and the balance in your life. I've given you the roadmap of the 4 steps in order, how all these things fit together, and go, how do you actually get out of a kind of work stress and working longer and harder and not having that balance? How do you get out of that? In my roadmap, and also in the book, Overwhelming Us, where I take you through that exact process, bring it to life with examples, and tell you exactly what you can do, walk you through that. I've supported you throughout January to help set you up for your best year, knowing full well that so many dads have made that promise to themselves and made that promise to their families that this year is going to be different. But where are you right now? Have you already fallen into the trap of doing it exactly the same way you were last year? There's all the fact that, everything you worked for last year all of a sudden doesn't seem to count for anything because everything's been reset. All the objectives, all the targets, reset now. Performance management, all new, fresh page. And you're looking out this year and the objectives and the goals and the performance management are even more stringent than they were last year. And yet you're looking at it going, I worked my tail off last year. I hardly saw my family. I wasn't feeling that great. I got stuff done, but man, how on earth am I going to do this year when the bar is set so much higher and the economic conditions are so much worse? How do I, if you're in that position, this video is for you. Because I know exactly how that feels. I know a lot of people say that, but a lot of people, they might have read about it or they go, yeah, that's something similar. But I've been through this. I've been in the corporate world, 20 years, climbed that corporate ladder, experienced every facet of stressing every single day about how much work there was to get done and how little time I had to do it, and sacrificing my family time. It was not pretty. And I also know as a business owner just how much pressure we put on ourselves and that list is never ending. So where do you draw the line? It's really tricky to get this balance. And I've been supporting you through January to give you that kickstart, because I know not only does it how it feels for you right now, but I also know how it feels when you come out of that, when you get to the other side, when you figure out what blueprints and strategies and steps you can use and frameworks that you can use that gets a handle on that, so that you can feel calm, confident, in control of your work, of your time, of that balance. I know what that feels like, and I just want you to feel that just like I do now. But it does take just shifting a few of the things that you're doing. And, it's taken 27 years for me to figure this out. 27 years of pain, suffering, trial, error, frustration, thousands of dollars, figuring this out, getting on programs, learning from the very best in the world, applying it, reapplying it, applying it consistently, adapting it. All of that, 27 years of that. But I'm now in a position where I can condense what actually works with no distractions, without the shiny object syndrome, without the stuff that may or may not have worked. Just boil down what actually works at a foundation level to get you out of this kind of working harder and longer and the stress and the imbalance that happens as a result of that. Get you off of that path and onto that path where you feel more calm, confident, and in control. So I am absolutely, as you know, I am absolutely passionate about this because I know how it feels, both where you're at right now and what happens if you don't address it. And I also know what happens when you get a handle on it and you start living. I mean, I've got more to do than I've ever had. And it's all on my shoulders because I'm a business owner. But I never, ever get stressed now about how much work I have to do and how little time I have to do it. The thing that stressed me out day in, day out for 20 years and paid a significant toll on my health and my relationships, I don't get stressed about that at all now. Yeah, I've got more to do and there's more at stake. I'm looking forward to the year. I've got heady, audacious goals. I don't know how I'm going to do all of them, but I'm looking forward to this year positively, knowing I've got the skills, I've got the people around me, I've got the support, I've got the frameworks in place to do it, to take on whatever happens personally and out there in the world. That is a great place to be. Yet I know that wasn't how it always was for me. And dads out there that are feeling like I used to, I just want to get you moving in the right direction and that momentum. So I've supported you with all the free stuff through January, and I want to give you a heads up right now that next week I'm going to be relaunching bringing out of the archives, my most powerful, my most value stacked, my most ridiculously priced support package for dads that I've ever done. And why am I doing that? Well, one of the reasons I've hanged my hat on is my birthday week next week. So I'm going to be celebrating with friends and family, but I wanted to do something special. I wanted to give something extra special to everybody out there that I can support and help. And hey, it just happens to be my birthday. So let's celebrate together. So next week, I'm going to be re-releasing that support package, and it's got everything that you need. It'll have all the tips all in one place, so you don't have to search social media. It'll have the roadmap so you understand the steps you need to take. It'll have my online program, my 10-hour signature program that condenses 27 years into 10 hours to save you that pain and suffering and that time. And it's going to include my time. It's going to include 10 hours of coaching with me. And you are going to pay a fraction of the price that those individual components are separately. And I can't wait for you to see it. And the precursor to all of that is a free class, a free training to show you the one thing that you can do right now to get off of that stressy, edgy, working harder and longer path. The one thing to get off of that path and start on the path of feeling calm, confident, and in control. Out of all the things, 27 years figuring it out, looking at everything that worked, everything that didn't work, and distilling not only everything into an online program in 10 hours, but then really looking at it and going, what's the one thing that makes the most significant difference to begin with? I figured that out. I'm doing an online class, especially for you, for free. And then as part of that, it's not one great big pitch. You'll have the class, and then what will come with that are all the details about the support package if you then want to take it further. I encourage you that if you've made that promise to yourself, take a look at it. Look out for it next week. It's everything I know that can help you as a dad, as somebody who wants to do a great job at work, but also spend quality time with their family. How do you do that? How do you make that shift? And it's a privilege and it's a pleasure to support you. Look out for it. In fact, if you're interested already, if this has whetted your appetite, then leave me a message, leave me a comment, and I'll make sure that you see it directly, just so that we don't leave it into the hands of the algorithms. So I'll catch up with you next week. But until then, if you're interested in this, if you've made that promise to yourself, then maybe just drop me a message or a comment, and let's make sure that you see it and get the value of that free class first off. And then if you want to take it that next level, just the most ridiculously value stacked and priced package that I've ever done. Can't wait. I'll see you next week.